Go ahead.
So we are from the 16th Gymnasium from Zagreb, Croatia, and my name is Lucia. We are all from the second grade, and this is
10th grade there,
which is 10th grade in America.
Yeah.
This
Right. Yeah,
is
I understand.
this is my colleague Marcela. We have Josip, Zita, Mia. Let's see. Eleni, Anna, and Emma.
Wow.
Hello.
Congratulations.
They're all going to participate. Yeah, there's
Okay.
a lot of us. And thank you. And we're all going to
thank you very
participate
much.
in this trial today.
Yes, we really appreciate it. And I sent something to your teacher. We're going to try to do something in 2 weeks. It's going to be really special too. But today, right now, I'd like to introduce to you Ben Ramirez. Ben Ramirez is the Vice President of the World Affairs Council here in Austin. He's also an attorney. So he could give us a little guidance on this particular thing. Ben, if you could introduce yourself a little bit, and then we'll start.
Hello, thank you all for inviting me to participate in today's mock trial. I'm really excited to hear the arguments by both parties. And this is a really important program for us, the World Affairs Council of Austin, to engage more students in international affairs and show them about what's happening not only in America, but also around the world. So we're really happy to have our friends from the nation of Croatia.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Okay, normally we'd have a bailiff to say all rise, but since we're going to be seated, that'd be fine. And now we'll turn it over to Judge Ramirez. Judge Ramirez, you're free to ask to start the trial, please.
All right.
Begin with prosecution. Are you ready?
Prosecution, are you ready for your case, to present your case today?
Oh.
And prosecution would answer, "We are, Your Honor." All you have to do in this case is to say, "We are, Your Honor."
Yes, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, on the night of August 2nd, 1976, a fortress in Fort Worth became a slaughterhouse. Inside the Stone Mansion, a 12-year-old girl, Andrea Wilburn, the daughter of Priscilla Davis, was brutally executed. A former professional basketball player, Stan Farr, friend of Priscilla Davis, was gunned down. Two others, Priscilla Davis herself and Gus Gavril, a family friend, were shot and left fighting for their lives. The man responsible for their death is the defendant, T. Cullen Davis. You will hear from two survivors, people who looked directly at the shooter, who knew him personally, and who identified him as T. Cullen Davis. Not strangers, not guesses, recognition. This case is not about a random intruder. It's not about a burglary gone wrong. It is about a man consumed by rage, by fear, by jealousy, and by the cold, calculated belief that he could simply erase the people who stood in his way. His motive is clear. Priscilla had filed for divorce. She was supposed to receive a large amount of money from Cullen. Cullen was filled with rage and afraid that he was going to lose everything. Furthermore, that sum was unexpectedly increased in the order of the court on the same day, with two young lives would go to waste. In addition, there are numerous witness accounts of his cruelty towards Priscilla and her daughter Andrea. Therefore, there is no doubt that he could do it again or something even worse. On the day of the murder, earlier in that evening, Priscilla Davis, T. Cullen Davis's wife, and her friend Stan Farr went out for a nice dinner. Priscilla's young daughter from another marriage, Andrea Wilburn, was home alone after returning from Bible study. A man dressed in all black suddenly entered the mansion. He found her in the basement storeroom, where he shot her in the back, execution style. Her lifeless body dropped on the cold concrete floor. Shortly after midnight, Priscilla and Stan Farr returned to the mansion. The killer was still inside the house when they entered. The man in black shot Priscilla. The bullet entered her chest in addition to perforating her liver before emerging. As Priscilla sagged in shock, the gunman turned to Stan Farr. He fled him with 4 bullets. While Stan was lying on the floor dead, Priscilla managed to escape the murder due to him reloading his hot revolver. Clutching her chest, she ran down a hill 1,000 yards to the home of a neighbor. At approximately 12:30 a.m., young Gus Gavril Jr. arrived to the mansion with his girlfriend Beverly Bass due to a small gathering that Priscilla was hosting. As they entered the house, the masked man shot Gus from the distance of 3 feet. The steel-jack bullet nickeled the lower part of Gus's spinal cord, leaving him disabled. During that time, Beverly ran out from the mansion with the intention of saving her life. The police, summoned by Priscilla's neighbors, were by then on their way. By the time they reached the crime scene, the murderer had already fled. Ladies and gentlemen, Stan Farr bled to death on the marble floor. Priscilla's young daughter's life was brutally and unfairly stolen. Priscilla Davis carries a bullet in her body to this day. At last, the life of a young man has been tragically changed forever. We kindly ask the jury to decide the fate of the defendant in conclusion of facts and not his social status and financial responsibilities. Thank you.
Ben, you can call for a judge. You can call for the defense's opening statement.
And defense, would you like to present your case?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Just the opening statement, Jill.
Your Honor, members of the council, jury, we stand here in a court that has become a theater of sensation. For months, the name Cullen Davis has been tossed about the headlines like a shuttlecock in a game played by those who care little for the gravity of the law. You've heard whispers of oil wealth, of fractured marriages, of excuse and malice. You have been invited to sit in judgment not merely of a man, but of an image, a caricature painted in the bold, reckless strokes of public opinion and prosecutorial ambition. But I'm here to dismiss that noise. I ask you to leave the gossip, the speculation, and the shadows of tabloid ingram at the door of the courtroom. You're not here to act as a committee of public morality, nor are you here to balance the scales of personal endeavor. You are here for one purpose and one purpose only: to weigh evidence, to measure facts, and to uphold the most sacred pillar of our American justice system, the presumption of innocence. Innocence. It is a word we use often, yet we frequently fail to grasp its ironclad weight. Cullen Davis stands before you not as a man who needs to prove his virtue, but as a man who begins this trial with a clean slate of the law. He is innocent. That is not a plea, it is a legal status. And that status remains his firm, impeccable, only and only if the state manages to dismantle it piece by piece, not with stories, but with cold, hard, incontrovertible physical evidence. The prosecution will attempt to dazzle you. They will contrast a narrative designed to appeal to the most human of weaknesses, the desire for a villain. They will weave a tapestry of motive, painting a portrait of a man driven by vengeance, by cold machinery of corporate power, by the petty resentment of failing union. They will tell a story, but remember this: stories are not evidence. Narratives are not facts. Conjecture is nothing more than a desperate scaffolding erected by those who lack solid foundation. As the just jurist William Blackstone once famously declared, it is better that 10 guilty people escape than one innocent suffer. That principle was not written for easy cases. It was written for moments like this, for moments where the atmosphere is thick with prejudice, where the eyes of the public are fixed on outcome, and where the pressure is to secure conviction threatens to escape the obligation to seek truth. The state bears a heavy burden, a burden they have invited by bringing these charges. They must prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt. They cannot simply offer you theories of how an act might happen or how a man might have been inclined to do so. They cannot come to you with vague sense of conspiracy or the whispered allegations of greed. Greed is a character flaw. It is not a murder weapon. A conspiracy requires participants. It cannot be manufactured out of thin air of suspicion. What then is physical evidence? Where is the incontrovertible link between men sitting at this table and the tragic events that happened? You will find the prosecution's case porous. They will ask you to connect dots that do not exist. They will point to circumstantial trifles and demand that you infiltrate them with certainty. But you are not here to speculate. You are here to guess. You're not here to guess. We live in an age that demands clarity. When crime is this magnitude placed at a man's doorstep, the law demands more than just convenient suspect. It demands that you leave no room for hesitation. It is evidence. If evidence does not shout, if the forensic trial does not lead directly to exclusively to my client, then the prosecution has failed. And if they fail, the law demands that you return the only verdict consistent with justice, not guilty. Do not let the prosecution distract you with the trappings of wealth. Do not let them substitute the desire for a headline with your duty to the truth. Justice is blind, but she is not stupid. She does not settle for conjecture. She does not accept the currency of greed as payment for the life of a man's reputation. We will show you that the state's case is built on shifting sand. We will show you that where you see motive, there is only the complexity of a private life. Where you see conspiracy, there is only the absence of viable theory. And where they claim there is proof, there is only the exhaustion of their own imagination. I ask you to watch the witness carefully. Observe the inconsistencies. Note the gaps where physical evidence should not be, but is conspicuously absent. Ask yourselves at every turn, is this a fact or is this a story meant to lead me to a conclusion they cannot otherwise reach? The defense has no burden to prove Cullen is a saint, but we do not have to explain the incontroverties of his business dealings or the private tribulations of his household. The burden of proof rests entirely from this moment until the final deliberations on the shoulders of the prosecution. If at any point during this trial you find yourself wondering, what if, or perhaps, then the prosecution has not met its burden. If there is a single lingering doubt, a shadow of uncertainty that refuses to be dispelled by the evidence provided, then you are bound by your oaths to acquit. When you retire to the jury room, do not carry with you the weight of the public's expectations. Leave behind the social pressure to find a scapegoat for our collective anxieties. The only thing you should carry with you into that room is evidence and the unwavering conviction that a man is innocent until the state proves otherwise through objective, tangible, and undeniable realities of physical facts. We trust your intelligence. We trust your integrity. We trust that when the curtain falls on this performance of conspiracy, you will see the truth as it stands, stripped of the layers of rumors and bias. T. Cullen Davis is innocent. The evidence will confirm it. We will ask that you listen with the suspicion of the state's case as it deserves and with the fairness that the law requires. Thank you.
Ben, you can call for prosecution to begin their case. Call the first witness.
All right, prosecution, are you ready to call your first witness?
Unmute. Yes.
Mrs. Davis, please describe what happened the night of the murder.
So on the night of August 2nd, 1976, I was out having dinner with my very good friend Stan Farr. I did not know that a man would break into my house and murder my innocent, precious daughter, Andrea Wilbur, who was only 12 years old. As we wrapped up our dinner, we headed back to my house, and as we went into the house, everything seemed normal, like nothing had happened. But little did I know that I would encounter a black figure in my home wearing a wig, and everything would be fully black. When he saw me, when we had the encounter, I was immediately shot in the chest, and I let out a violent scream because it was awful. The first thought that came to my mind was where the whereabouts of my precious daughter, Andrea. The feeling of not knowing where she is and how she's doing is just something that I cannot explain enough. I wouldn't wish that feeling upon my worst enemy. Immediately after the man shot me, he shot my friend Stan 4 times, and he was bleeding on the marble floor. And I was forced to watch him. Die silently. But I then recognized that I actually knew that man because I had lived with that man for years, and I knew his posture, the way he stands, his shoulders, everything. That man, I'm certain that man was T. Cullen Davis. I will never forgive him for what he had done to our life. He destroyed everything, and that he murdered my precious 12-year-old daughter.
What went through your mind when you were shot?
It was pure fight or flight instinct. I just ran for my life. I ran to the closest neighbors, and I called for help. I begged them for help.
Were you afraid of Mr. Davis?
Yes, I was.
Did Mr. Davis threaten you before?
Yes, he did.
Was he violent?
He was violent towards both me and my daughter.
What did you do immediately after getting shot?
As I said, I ran towards the nearest neighbors and called for help.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor. We don't have any more questions.
Yeah. Ben, you can call for cross-examination.
Yes, defense. Any questions for the witness?
Yes, Your Honor, we do have a couple questions. So, Mrs. Davis, you testified that the lighting was dim and you were bleeding. Is it possible that your memory was impaired?
Yes.
Okay. And given your bitter divorce, is it true that you had reason to believe that Cullen was responsible, even without clear vision?
Uh, yes. Yes and no. I'm not certain.
Please explain, Ms. Davis.
Well, he did threaten me before, but I never thought that he would have gone that far into killing and murdering my own daughter and eventually trying to kill me.
And Mrs. Davis, you stated that he had a mask and he was a black shadowy figure, but you are certain that it is him?
Yes, I'm certain because as I said prior, I did live with him for many years, and I am pretty sure that a normal person would also know how he looks, how your loved person looks, even in the dark.
You think stress could have had a factor in your identification of the person standing in front of you in the darkness with a mask?
May you please repeat the question?
Yes, ma'am. Do you think that stress could have had a factor in your ability to identify the person standing in front of you with the mask on, dressed in all black?
No, I don't, because as I said, I'm 100% certain that that man was T. Cullen Davis.
Thank you, Mrs. Davis. Thank you, Your Honor. That is all.
Thank you very much. And any follow-up from the prosecution?
No, that's all.
Very good.
Your Honor.
Are you ready to call your next witness? Prosecution?
Yes.
Ти треш на другу сторону.
Okay, could you please state your case on what happened that day from your perspective?
So when I arrived to the mansion with Beverly Bass, I heard screaming coming from inside. And when I went inside to see what was happening, that's when I saw the intruder. And I'm sure it was Cullen Davis. And briefly after that, he shot me, leaving me paralyzed.
So can you confirm, as Priscilla's close friend, that Mr. Davis threatened her and was mad because of the divorce?
She told me multiple times and vented to me about her relationship with her husband in time of her marriage. And I'm aware of that.
Okay, thank you. So you've been to the house many times, right?
Yes.
Does that mean that you're aware of the elaborate security system?
Yes, I saw Cullen, and I was friends with Priscilla at the time when he installed it. So I know that he knows how it works and that he is most familiar with it.
Okay, thank you. Can you confirm that you know Mr. Davis well enough, his looks, to recognize him?
Yes.
Okay. You were shot in the chest, but it was not fatal. So, in your opinion, does that seem like the work of a trained shooter?
No.
Okay, but you think that the person who shot you wanted to kill you?
Yes.
Okay. Did you see the figure of Mr. Davis before he shot you?
Yes, I did.
Okay, thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. And defense, do you have questions for the witness?
Yes, I do, Your Honor. So you were close friends with Priscilla Davis. Could her belief that Cullen was responsible influence yours?
Can you repeat the question?
Can you repeat the question, please? I didn't hear you.
Okay. We're friends with Priscilla Davis. Could your belief that Cullen was responsible influence yours?
Yes.
All right. And what was the span of time that passed between you seeing the shooter and you finding yourself paralyzed and on the floor?
Probably less than a minute.
And you believe that within that half minute, you're sure that the person you saw shoot you was T. Colin Davis without
Yes, I'm
a
sure.
doubt in mind.
Yes, I'm sure.
Thank you. No further questions.
All right. Any follow-up from the prosecution?
No, no, yes. Next witness. Joseph, because the prosecution calls Detective John Terrell.
Prosecution calls. Hello, prosecution calls statement David John Terrell.
So when I arrived at the Stonegate mansion, I encountered two dead people. One of them was Andrea Wilborn, who is the daughter of Priscilla Davis, and a former basketball player, Stan Farr, who were both shot. Stan Farr was shot in his chest 4 times, and Andrea Wilburn has been shot in the back of her head, execution style. I also encountered Priscilla Davis herself. She was wounded in her chest, and her friend Gus Gavril, who has also been shot and has been paralyzed since then.
Now I'm going to ask some questions to the Detective John Terrell. First of all, I would like to ask you something about your work experience. How long have you been engaged in this line of work?
I have been working in homicide for 12 years, and I've had 50 plus cases in my lifetime.
Could you please say how many victims are involved in this case?
We encountered 2 shots and dead, and 2 wounded persons.
Okay. Based on which evidence and facts did you determine that T. Cullen Davis was the prime suspect?
We've collected evidence that T. Cullen Davis had a lot of witness accounts, that he was violent towards his daughter, Andrea Wilburn, and his wife, Priscilla Davis. Also, on the day of the murder, the amount of money that Priscilla was supposed to get due to her divorcing T. Cullen Davis increased, which we put as motive for the murder of the defendant. And yes, that's all.
Did witness statements play a role in your conclusion?
Yes, they did.
Based on your experience, did this appear to be a deliberate act?
Yes, in forensic, by concluding everything that we got, all of the evidence and all of the medical information, we concluded that the murder was intentional.
That was my final question. Thank you, my owner.
Thank you.
Your Honor.
That's all right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And
Sorry for.
defense, do you have questions for the witness?
All right. So, detective, your case, is it correct that your case relies primarily on eyewitness testimony and motive and not physical evidence tying it to T. Colin Davis?
Yes.
All right. And may you please repeat what you stated about the amount of money that increased before the murder?
On the day of the murder, the court, which was in charge of the amount of money that Priscilla is going to get, and they were they're in charge of their divorce, the amount of money increased. They decided.
The amount of money increased.
Yes. Like for example,
Priscilla Davis?
Yes.
And do you believe that that could be for any other reason except for the murder that happened to occur that day?
No, I think that the fact that the money increased has nothing to do with the murder.
Okay. And detective, did you recover any weapon tying the murder to T. Colin Davis?
Yes, we found a handgun that is 38 caliber, but it was in a plastic bag.
With any fingerprints leading it to T. Colin Davis?
No.
No. Thank you. That'll be all.
If I may add, I wanted to say that T. Colin Davis, the defendant, doesn't have a strong alibi because one of the information that we gathered is that the defendant stated that he was at a cinema, but we don't have any proof or any witnesses that he was there. Also, his girlfriend at the time said that he was first stated that he was at home with her, and then she said that he wasn't. So we think that the defendant doesn't have a strong alibi that we could take it for.
How many days passed from when the murder occurred and when you found the murder weapon?
It was about 3 days.
3 days from the murder occurring and the weapon found that was not tied to T. Colin Davis. That's correct.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes, I'm saying that please confirm that 3 days did pass and that weapon was not tied to T. Colin Davis?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any follow-up questions from the prosecution? Then we're ready for the next witness.
The prosecution calls Dr. Linda Carter. So, Dr. Carter, could you tell the court what you concluded from your analysis?
Yes, so Andrea Wilborn died from a single gunshot to the head, and the trajectory and the placement of the wound indicate an execution-style killing. Stanford suffered multiple gunshot wounds consistent with the close-range gunfire. The injuries to Priscilla Davis and Gus Gavril also show intent to kill, and these were not warning shots or accidents. Whoever fired the weapon intended to kill all those involved.
Thank you, Doctor. Now, could you please repeat what was the cause of Andrea Wilburn's death?
Yes, so the cause of Andrea Wilburn's death is the single gunshot wound to the head.
Okay. And what was the one inflicted at close range?
Yes.
Okay, now a close range gunshot to the head indicates intent to kill. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And would you describe that type of wound as an execution style one?
Yes.
Okay, now there were multiple victims shot that night. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And did the injuries to the victims indicate a deliberate attempt to kill?
Yes.
Now, could these wounds occur without intent to kill?
Yes, it is possible, but with the placement of the wounds, it was probably execution.
Okay. And from a medical standpoint, was this a controlled and purposeful act of violence?
Yes.
And doctor, do your finding confirm this was a deliberate, intentional act of killing and not an accident?
Yes, they do.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Defense, do you have questions for the witness?
Yes, Your Honor, I do. So, doctor, can you tell this jury who fired the shots?
No,
With
I
certainty?
cannot. I cannot identify the shooter.
Thank you. And did you find any forensic evidence linking T. Cullen Davis to the murders that you just described?
No, because that is the job of the forensic. So, but the bullet in Priscilla Davis is still in her to this day, and the caliber of the gun, it matches the bullet that is in Priscilla Davis.
And so the gun that was tied to the bullet is not linked to T. Cullen Davis. And you cannot tell who fired the shots.
Yes, it
Is
is.
that correct?
The caliber of the gun that T. Cullen Davis owned matches the caliber of the bullet that was found in Priscilla Davis.
Oh, and you did just confirm that you are not a forensic, so you cannot confirm that T. Cullen Davis had the gun. Is that correct?
I cannot confirm there weren't any fingerprints on the gun, but I can confirm that he had the gun that we don't know if he used, but the same caliber was in Priscilla Davis as he owned.
Without any forensic evidence, how can you confirm that it was his gun?
I cannot confirm, but those are just facts.
Really? Thank you so much.
Thank you. And any follow-up from the prosecution? If not, we'll call the next witness.
I believe that was their last witness.
We don't have any more witnesses. Thank you.
Very good. Then are you ready for your closing statements?
Defense. The defense needs to call their case.
Yes. Defense?
I want to stand.
Give us the.
You're mute, Amanda.
I knew well during her separation from Cullen. She often gave very different versions of events depending on how upset she was or what she had been drinking. I personally heard her say she wasn't sure who she saw the night of the shooting. And later, she said that I was absolutely certain it was Cullen. I also know that she was using pills and drinking heavily at the time. In my experience, Priscilla was not always reliable when she was emotional under the influence. I do not believe she could have made a clear identification under those conditions. Thank you.
Okay,
Amanda,
so
introduce your witness again because I don't think Croatia heard who she was.
I am Margaret Maggie Hollis. I am a neighbor and social acquaintance of Priscilla Davis. I knew her through the Rogia Country Club and interacted with her.
thank you, Mrs. Hollis. May I proceed with the questions?
Your Honor.
They heard the answers and the questions. That I think they're fixing to do cross.
Well, for the record, please say your name.
I am Margaret Maggie Hollis.
Okay.
Mrs. Hollis, how long have you known Mrs. Cullen?
I've known her for some time, and I've lived in her neighborhood and we talk through the country club.
Have you ever seen Mr. Cullen act violently?
I don't know Mr. Cullen Davis.
Well, what was the reputation with Mrs. Cullen and Mr. Cullen in the community before these events?
I know that they didn't end on friendly terms, but I only know what Miss Cullen Davis said through me through the country club. Miss Priscilla.
What did you personally observe about Priscilla's emotional state and sobriety during that period?
During the time I've talked with her, she has been under the influence of certain pills and drugs and always contradicts what she says.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Prosecution, do you have questions for the witness?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Hollis, you weren't at the mansion that night, so you have no first-hand knowledge of what Mrs. Davis actually saw, correct?
No.
Your opinions are based on social interactions, not professional training in trauma or eyewitness reliability, right?
I observed what Miss Priscilla Davis said to me personally.
You have no proof backing Mrs. Davis's drinking and drug abuse, right?
I have seen it personally when she is under the influence of alcohol in the country club.
You paid a lot of attention to Mrs. Davis. Were you perhaps jealous of her?
I have no real I only know her through the country club, and I really don't interact with her elsewhere, so I don't have jealousy towards her.
If Mrs. Davis was under the influence that night, she wouldn't have been able to run for help, right?
I was not there that night, so I cannot say what I cannot testify.
She confided in you in private conversations, not in official statements, right? You were out partying with Mrs. Davis so often, right? It seems that you have a history of drug and alcohol abuse, doesn't it?
What does my background have to do with the case?
Objection, speculation, Your Honor?
Sustained.
Speculation.
No further questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Any follow-up from the defense, or are you ready to call your next witness?
You're ready, Your Honor. So, hi, my name is Dr. Robert Mills. I'm a forensic expert. The ballistic evidence does not conclusively tie any weapon to T. Cullen Davis. No fingerprints, no direct forensic link places him at the scene. From a scientific standpoint, this case was built on circumstantial evidence and eyewitness accounts that cannot be verified.
Defense, you want to start the questions?
Yes. For the record, please state your name.
My name is Robert Mills.
Dr. Mills, is eyewitness testimony reliable under stress?
No, oftentimes it is flawed when someone is injured or traumatized.
Is there any evidence, physical evidence, tied to Cullen Davis in that time?
No, there was no physical evidence directly linking him to the cause of the murders.
Is eyewitness testimony alone not considered scientifically reliable, especially under trauma? Am I correct?
That is correct, yes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. And prosecution, do you have questions for the witness?
We do. So, did you check which weapons the defendant owns?
I only can provide my professional opinion based on the facts that I was given from the report.
So, you do not know which weapons he owns, therefore, you cannot say whether the bullet and the gun match.
Objection, speculation?
How?
Sustained.
Okay. So, the second question is, what is the security system in the house like?
I don't have any knowledge of that. I am a ballistic forensic expert. I have no knowledge of the security of the home.
Okay. In the files, it is stated that the house has cameras, right?
I'm a forensic expert. I haven't seen those files.
Dobro. So, have you worked with the defendant before?
Can you repeat the question?
Have you worked with the defendant before?
No, not in any official capacity.
Okay. And is it true that the defendant hired you himself?
I was merely brought on to testify what my professional opinion is based on the cases and the facts that I've participated in and been given.
But him paying you could erase some of the objectiveness, right?
I am paid by the state, not T. Cullen Davis.
That was not the information we were given, but all right. So, based on the evidence that you have gathered, do the murders look like the work of a hitman or an amateur?
All I can say is that the shots were deadly and precise. I do not know whether this was the work of an amateur or a professional.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
Defense, do you have any other witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor. Here is T. Cullen Davis, the person being accused of the murder.
Defense, you may begin your questions.
So my name is T. Cullen Davis. I am 42 years old. And thank you. I work is at an oil company, and I'm also a businessman. And I have no criminal record, and I managed the family business. So, first of all, I did not kill Andrea Wilborn. I did not shoot Stan Farr, nor did I harm Priscilla or Gus. On the night of August 2nd, I was not at the Stonegate Mansion. I loved Andrea as if she were my own daughter, and I would never harm her. Yes, my marriage to Priscilla was troubled, and yes, I was angry. But anger is not proof of murder. The prosecution has no physical evidence tying me to this crime, only unreliable witnesses who were injured and confused.
May we begin with the questions, Your Honor?
Yes.
So, Mr. Cullen, for the record, please say your name.
T. Cullen Davis.
Mr. Davis, where was your location the night of the offense?
I was at the movies.
So it is your testimony you were not present at the time of the crime scene,
Yes.
correct? And you had no weapon recovered linking you to the shooting, correct?
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Prosecution, do you have questions for the defendant?
Thank you, Your Honor. First of all, I would like to ask you something about that you have been watching movies. Do you have any physical evidence or, I don't know, ticket or something like that that you have been there? I can't hear anything, so I can repeat my question. Do you have any physical evidence, ticket or something like that that you have been watching movies, that you have been to cinema?
Well, I purchased a ticket, so I'm pretty sure if you could go back and to the movie place where I was, you can check
Okay,
there.
so you have. But I can't see here anything in like.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
But there is no witnesses for that, so.
Is that a question?
Okay, first of all, no, this was the first question. So first of all, I would like to ask you some personal things, something about your wife. Here we have something about your divorce that is still in progress. So first of all, Mr. Davis, you were in a bitter divorce with Priscilla Davis at that time, correct?
I was in a divorce, but I don't think it was bitter.
Okay, what was your mental state upon learning that your property might be divided between yourself and wife?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Okay, I will. What was your mental state upon learning that your property might be divided between yourself and your wife, Priscilla Davis?
I'm sorry. I'm not understanding your question.
How did you feel that your property might be divided between yourself and your wife? Like, what? How was your like?
Okay.
What did you feel about it?
It could be a little frustrating, but
you were frustrated. Okay. Okay. Did you experience feelings of anger?
Yes.
Was that one of your motives for killing? For the
Objection, speculation, Your Honor?
Okay. What was? Could you just describe your relationship with your wife?
My ex-wife? Yes.
Yes.
It was very sweet in the beginning. It did turn a little sour, but I will definitely testify to say that we were both angry, but we moved on. We had closure.
Okay, you said that it was well, but can you describe us something about her cat? What did you do with her cat? No, okay. Uh,
I wasn't aware of our pets.
okay. The next question. You about the case. You claim you were somewhere else at that time, yet there is no physical evidence confirming that alibi. Correct?
I was with my girlfriend at the movies, yeah.
But you said that you were at cinema watching movies.
Is that not
You
what
said
you
that at
just
the
said?
beginning of your statement, and you said that you have a physical evidence of that ticket.
Yes, the
Okay.
ticket.
So why are you lying right now to the court?
Please repeat that.
I think that's against the law, and you said that at the beginning of your statement. Как скажешь так это? Oh, you took an oath to the court that you are not going to lie about that.
I don't understand how this connects to the murder trial. I was just saying that it was sustained
Yes,
that I
but
was at the movies.
You said
And
you are
I just
changing
wasn't
your
at the mansion.
alibi.
What did I change? I'm confused.
Okay, I would like just to say something to your honor, just to take a note about this. So for the future, for the future,
I think my argument was sustained though.
for the future steps.
I was at the movies with
So
my
we
girlfriend.
have here a problem about the alibi. Okay, next question, please. There is also no physical evidence proving you were not at the scene. Is that?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Okay, I will. There is also no physical evidence proving you were not at the scene. Is there? Is there?
I was at the movies with my girlfriend. So
Okay, I will make it easier for you. The question was, there is also no physical evidence proving you were not at the scene. Is there?
there is no evidence.
And one question, I would like just to add one more question about your wife. Did you beat her? Did you beat her?
I'm sorry, what? Can you
Did you
repeat
beat
that?
did you beat your wife?
Did you beat
And Andrea, your your daughter-in-law.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Okay, Okay, did you beat your wife?
No.
No. And I will just pose my question again. There is also no physical evidence proving you were not at the scene, is there? Can you answer that question?
No.
No, why not? Can you just explain that to the court?
I don't think I have to prove that I was at the movies with my girlfriend. You can go to the cinema, check the
But we
ticket,
had a
CCTV.
situation where you said that you lied. Okay, if you are not in position to answer to my questions, I would just give a notice to the court that just they can read that for the future steps. So here we have
Answered all of your
like
questions.
right now. But for the last question, or two questions, I would like to pose that. Two people who knew you personally identify you as the shooter. Are you saying they are both wrong?
Yes.
Okay, but also one question. We have an information that your girlfriend said that you were home that night.
That is wrong.
That's wrong. Okay, so
That's
that means
wrong.
that should lie. Okay. I don't have any future questions, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And defense, any follow-up?
Yes, Your Honor. That Mrs. Priscilla Davis is also angry at the moment of your marriage and your bitter divorce, correct?
Correct.
No. Okay. So, with
Can you please speak louder and repeat your statement, please?
oh, okay. So you confirm that you were in cinema, and after that, what was the directions you took?
So I was at the cinema with my girlfriend, and then we went to her house, and I laid in bed with her.
So you confirm that you were not present in the moment of your scene, and you were not present in your mansion?
Yes, we were not at the Stonegate Mansion.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any further witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Defense rest.
Very good. We're ready for closing statements. Prosecution.
Just a second, Your Honor, please. We can proceed, Your Honor. Thank you.
Very good.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, at this point in the trial, the question before you is simple. What does the evidence show happened inside the Stonegate Mansion on the night of August 2nd, 1976, and who was responsible? You have heard testimony from survivors of that night. Most importantly, you heard from Priscilla Davis, who directly saw the shooter and identified him as the defendant, T. Cullen Davis. That identification was not based on assumption or rumor, but on recognition. You also heard evidence describing the sequence of events inside the mansion. A young girl was killed. Stan Farr was shot and died from his injuries. Priscilla Davis and Gus Gabriel were also shot and survived, but with long-lasting physical and emotional consequences. The nature of these attacks show a clear pattern of intentional violence, not accident or confusion. The evidence also gives you context for what may have led to this situation. You heard about a difficult and escalating divorce, significant financial disputes, and growing tension between the defendant and Priscilla Davis. While motive alone is never enough to prove guilt, it helps explain the circumstances surrounding what happened that night. When you consider all of this together, the identification by an eyewitness, the coordinated sequence of shootings, and the background of conflict, the evidence points in a consistent direction. Your role is not to speculate, but to evaluate what has been proven beyond a reasonable doubt. And based on the evidence presented in this courtroom, the conclusion is clear. We ask you to return a verdict of guilty. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Defense, your closing statement.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we have spent time in this courtroom listening to a narrative crafted not by the facts, but by the convenience of a story. The prosecution has painted a portrait of a man, T. Cullen Davis, using the judge palette of hearsay, speculation, and the bitter resentment of a fractured marriage. They have asked you to look at a man who possessed great wealth, and by virtue of that wealth alone, assume that he must possess a capacity for depravity. But in this country, we do not convict people because of their status, their bank accounts, or the rumors that swirl around their private lives. We convict based on proof. The law is clear, and it is the bedrock upon our entire system of justice. It rests that every person who sits in that chair is presumed innocent. That presumption is not a mere suggestion. It is a heavy, impenetrable shield that follows the accused from the moment they enter this room, until the moment they reach your verdict. It is the prosecution's burden to lift that shield, not with whisper or theories, but with a cold, hard weight of physical evidence. And what have they brought you? They have brought you conjecture. They have brought you the testimony of those who stood the benefit of a narrative of guilt. They have invited you into a web of conspiracy, asking you to connect invisible dots with nothing more than the thin thread of your own imagination. They have relied on your potential prejudices against a man of means, hoping that if they made the story loud enough, you wouldn't notice it was empty. Where is the physical evidence that places Cullen Davis at the scene of this tragedy? Where is the incontrovertible proof that binds him to this act? You have seen the exhibits. You have heard the witnesses. And you know, as we do, that there is no smoking gun. There is no forensic certainty. There is only a story told by a prosecution desperate to secure a conviction at any cost. Greed, vengeance, and the thirst for a high-profile scalp are not evidence. They are the enemies of justice. To convict on such flimsy grounds will be to abandon the very principles that ensure the safety of every citizen in this state. If the state can reach out and dismantle a man's life based on theories instead of facts, then no one in this courtroom is safe. Ladies and gentlemen in this courtroom, can you put a man in jail knowing that the evidence placing him there is not without reasonable doubt, but rather because he is simply the most disliked candidate presented and appears to look the part of murder that may have gotten away? You are the final arbiters of the truth. I ask you to look past the smoke and mirrors. I ask you to demand the standard of proof that our Constitution requires. Proof beyond a reasonable doubt, not beyond a sensational headline. When you retire to that room, remember the shield of innocence. It has not been broken, because the prosecution never brought the force required to break it. You must return the only verdict that the law and the evidence support, a verdict of not guilty. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you all. Very good. And Mike, are you the juror?
No, you are. You're the arbiter of justice here.
Yes, I would rule the defendant not guilty. I wish the prosecution would have pursued the whole alibi, and if not had the witness of the girlfriend, then we'd know if there was something there. The prosecution had good questions on the defendant's state of mind, on whether or not the defendant was violent in the past toward the victims. And the defense did a very good job of keeping that door open for the jury to have some reasonable doubts in this case. I think this was very well done from both teams.
Yeah, I concur with what you say. I think it was very well done. I'm very proud of the people from Croatia. That probably was better than the prosecution did in the real case. The case is full of a lot of holes. The trial lawyer for the in the real case, Racehorse Haynes, never lost a murder case. And this guy, it was amazing. He was very aggressive. He would actively question stuff. He would change everybody's idea around, and as soon as you say it's up, he would prove it was down. That was just the type of person he was. Uh, and you could see one of the things that you learn through something like this is that we don't know today whether it was T. Cullen Davis or not. And T. Cullen Davis is still alive. You'll probably not know until a grave. It's kind of like the JFK assassination. Some things you just do not know. What you can learn here is that a good attorney can change people's opinion, and in our justice system, justice is not with a big J, but with a little J sometimes, and the attorney can manipulate or whatever they want to do if you have a theme. So this is a very good example. I was really happy to see the people from Croatia pick this one out because I think this could actually show, and really appreciate Ben here doing this, and Dr. Cunningham from El Paso, and the people from Zagreb. This is a good example of how international education should be, and what it can be by using technology, even though we had some snafus today. And that is that it's the learning process of the developing in between. Very good. Any question or any comments from the teachers involved?
We would like to thank all the participants, both teachers and especially the students.
Oh, yeah. Very well. I'm very happy to see you guys. It is, I'm of the age in which if somebody would have told me that I could be talking to people from former Yugoslavia, that they would be rolling over in, it just amazes me. Just put it that way. Okay. And it is a real privilege. Kevin, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I'm just happy that everyone did the best they possibly could. I know we had some technical difficulties at the very beginning and whatnot, but yeah. I was scared. I was scared when the Croatian team was really harping on the alibi. I was like, oh,
yeah.
So great job.
By the way, I don't know if y'all know this, but if you study about the alibi part, T. Cullen Davis comes up with a deal and actually allegedly pays somebody to agree to him that they sold him a ticket. They don't have a ticket, but he had this person who's going to testify. That person wasn't even on the job that night. So, this is really a very, that was excellent. That idea there would have stopped that for sure. I do not know today, and I've done a lot of study on this stuff because we're putting together some curriculum for attorneys. The only thing I really learned is in the adversarial position of our justice system, I'm amazed at the abilities of Racehorse Haynes. This gentleman was flabbergasted by what he did in the courtroom, and he has another murder case too, where the second murder case. That's where they have T. Cullen on tape, and don't get me going on that. That's so great. I do want to challenge you guys. I sent you out some stuff. I'd like to see if we could do something similar to this with the immigration. It'll be very short because the kids are going to be out of school here pretty quick. But the idea is that we have a 24-year-old person from your hometown come to the United States. They're a movie actress. They're shooting some films in Mexico. She comes to the United States illegally, and she gets caught by the Border Patrol, and she goes to immigration court. I've sent out quite a bit of stuff on that. I'll send out what it is. You have 3 witnesses on each side. It'll be kind of interesting, and we'll have hopefully we're going to have, knock on wood, we'll have an immigration judge that will actually hear it. Again, we're trying to open this up to look at the concept of what it's really like. In the United States, there's a lot of issues about immigrants, but we don't really look at from the other side. When I say the other side, we don't look at why somebody would leave someplace for asylum. And this way we could actually try to do that. And I know Croatia is a lovely place, but we try to put a crime element involved in it. So, that you could take a look at that and see, and we can have some fun with that. I'll be in contact with you. We sure do appreciate today. And thank you. I know it's really late there, so I appreciate you guys staying over so long. And Ben, you have any closing comments?
Yes. Yeah. We are very thankful for this opportunity, and thank you so much to the other team, because we really appreciate that you guys came out here and participated into this event. And it was really, really well thought out, and we enjoyed it a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I mentioned that it
Thank
was
you
a
to
rough,
you
but
guys.
it was pretty fun.
Yes, yes, it was so much fun.
So you guys are looking forward to the next one then, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay. Ben, what do you want to say? Close it up. We'll stop.
No, thank you all for your participation and your dedication to this. It's an important educational endeavor, and we really appreciate the opportunity to partner with y'all in Zagreb as well as Da Vinci. Thank you again, Mr. Cunningham, for putting us all together today.
Okay, no problem. We'll talk to you later. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.